Sangston on telephone, just so everybody knows she's participating. If everybody could stand for love and silence. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We apologize, we've late for back for executive session for some personnel issues, matters. Roll call, please.
Mr. Hirschman?
Here.
Mrs. Driscoll? Here. Mr. Martucci?
Here.
Mrs. Sangston? Mrs. Sangston? She said, Mr. Renzi?
Here.
Mr. Martray?
Here.
Mr. Pokenauer?
Here.
Mr. Detweiler?
Here.
Mr. Panzella?
Here. The motion for the minutes of the previous meeting.
So moved. Second.
Motion second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Motion for the treasurer's report.
So moved. Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Motion for the payment of the general and federal fund bills.
So moved. Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Payment of the cafeteria fund bills.
So moved. Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next, we'll have our student representative for the school board.
Hello everyone, my name is Dave Pavlovich and I have some updates from our school student body today. The student council has been busy planning the powder puff and is currently scheduled for April 16th. Also, Mr. Renzi, through an online grant, was able to gain 62 free admissions to the Pittsburgh Zoo, where student council is taking our yearly club field trip this year. That's all I have for you today. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next, we'll move to public comment for agenda items. And we have Sonny Bentley, piano, special education, plan, MOUs. Oh, special ed, plan, and MOUs. And just remind everybody of 3 minutes.
I'll make this as quick as I can. First, on
Hold on
Monday,
one second.
pardon me?
Hold on. Yeah. Special ed. Yeah. Okay. So this one's on agenda items, so you have special ed and plan and the MOUs.
Yes, I've got 3 minutes.
Yeah, but I mean, you had 3 on here, and piano's not an agenda item, so that's not an agenda item. Is what this is telling. So,
It wasn't on the agenda Monday?
no,
Well, then we're good.
those are just.
Well, listen, I just want an answer to a question. How long are they going to accept the donations? Because I would like to make a donation. I just want the answer to how long is the district going to accept the donations for the Steinway? I would think you would want the public to know that information.
It's an ongoing thing that he said that you can address with the committee. They're still taking donations.
Okay, that's all I needed to know then. You're still accepting donations. Moving forward. The other thing I wanted to address is the special education plan for the 2025 through 2028. It was on the agenda and I Googled it because I wanted to review it and there's no access to it. So you put it on the agenda saying for the taxpayers to know that it's on the agenda, but the taxpayers don't have access to review it before we come to Wednesday's meeting and you all vote on it.
It is on the agenda. It is on there.
It's on the agenda, but we don't have access to review the information in the special education plan. I Googled it, I looked for it on site, on the district site.
It's on the website. It's under special ed.
It's under the special education?
It's on the special ed website. It's posted on the special website.
Okay, because I couldn't find it, so that's what I wanted to
Yeah.
clarify.
So
The other,
you can see it.
okay, the other thing I wanted to ask about was the MOU. I think it's 19P. It just says about the MOU. It doesn't state what the MOU is about for special education.
He's not special education. You're saying 19B?
I know 19C was to rescind,
That far.
and then there was an MOU for 19P.
19B is not special education.
That's in regard to posting for cosmetology. 19P is an MOU to post for a cosmetology opening.
Okay. I obviously got my paperwork wrong here. There wasn't an MOU for, oh, it's the Act 93. It just says Act 93. What is the MOU for the Act 93?
An amendment to, that's the amendment to the Act 93 plan.
And that's all it states, is it's an amendment. As a taxpayer, I would like to know what that amendment is.
Adding 2 positions to this isn't question and answer.
I'm not asking for question and answer.
You are.
I'm responding to an agenda item. And I'm asking for,
We don't do.
Point of information.
For nobody, we don't do question and answer, but for this, it is.
point of
just-
information then.
What's that?
I'm asking clarification on an agenda item as a point of information.
Well, I think that he just said that it was what is it,
That's 3 minutes, by the way. So the Act 93 plan, so the Act 93 plan, again, this isn't for question and answer, but to the extent there was a question, that the board was also aware of what this is, just for the public. It's amending the Act 93 plan to address 2 positions, and changing some of the roles of those positions for the Act 93 administrators.
Okay, and as taxpayers, how do we access what those positions are?
So you would, if you want, interested in that specific agenda item, you could reach out to the district prior to the meeting to get any specifics that are available to the public prior to the meeting. Some of those as personnel matters are not available to the public prior to the meeting until they're actually acted on by the board, and then details of that information, the full details of those decisions would then become public information after that.
But the creation of, or readjustment of positions would be accessible to the public as right to know.
Some items may, some items might, depends on what the change is. So it all depends on what the exact change is, whether or not it's something that would be accessible to the public before the actual voting meeting, before action by the board itself.
Okay, thank you very much.
Moving to, that's all we had for agenda items. Moving to athletics, Mr. Rennie.
Thank you. Discuss approval of the 25-26 winter sports supplementals as proposed. And I so move.
Second.
A motion is second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
That's all we have, Mr. Pansell. Mr. Martucci,
Yes, sir.
anything else, Mr. Evans?
Nothing.
That's all we have.
Thank you, Mr. Rennie. Moving to buildings and grounds, Mr. Detweiler.
Thank you, Mr. Panzel. I'd like to request approval of the following event and building usage requests and spread items 1 to 11. And I so move. Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Request approval to hire Steve Warwick as a 4-hour custodian effective March 31st, 2025. And I so move. Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
To award a professional services contract for architectural engineering and for construction management services for the potential Dunbar Township Elementary School renovation project to Core Site Logic. Such professional services contract to be in accordance with the request for proposal issued by the district and proposal received from such firm, but subject to and pending final review, approval, and revision by the district solicitor. Such contract is not required to be bid out as a professional services contract, and I so move. Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Request approval for the attached proposal of the Williams Company Incorporated to upgrade the Gamewell Flex 600 fire alarm panel at Springfield Township CMP Elementary School in the amount of $14,583. Pricing is CoStar's contract, and I so move.
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
This is an addition, so if there's any questions when I get done, please ask. Request approval and acceptance of the proposed agreement of TRS Roofing Incorporated for the high school emergency roof repair at a cost of $111,700 for the repair of the auditorium roof that was damaged during the storm on March 16, 2025. This proposal is under CoStar's contract and CoStar's vendor number 207082. This amount will be paid from insurance reimbursement, and I so move. Also, there, like I said, any questions?
Need a second first.
Second.
Any questions? This is an addition that we just had come in for the roof. No questions. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Request approval and acceptance of the attached proposal agreement of TRS Roofing Incorporated for additional work on the high school roof at a total cost of $199,486. This proposal is under CoStar's contract and CoStar's vendor number 207082. This amount will be paid from the capital reserve fund, and I so move.
Second.
Motion is second. This was also added. If there's any questions on this, was added tonight, today. Hearing no questions, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Mr. Coach?
Nothing, thank you.
I don't think Mrs. Sankson is probably here either. Anything?
Anything, Mrs. Sampson?
Mr. Kirsch, anything?
No, thank you.
Mr. Bigham?
Thank you, no.
All right, that's all we have, Mr. Panzella, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Detwiler. Carnegie Free Library, Mrs. Driscoll.
I don't have anything further tonight. Mr. Martray?
Nothing, thank you.
Mr. Harshman?
Nothing, thank you.
That's all we have.
Thank you, Mrs. Driscoll. Moving to the Collinsville Area Career and Technical Center, Mr. Kokenauer.
No, we don't have nothing for tonight, Mr. Detwiler.
Nothing, sir.
Mrs. Langston?
Nothing, thank you.
That's all we have, Mr. Panzella, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kokenauer. Moving to the curriculum, Mr. Martucci.
Thank you, Mr. Panzella. Request approval of the following professional employee travel. One, Jason McLean is requested to attend the Fayette County Junior Envirothon competition on Friday, April 11, 2025 at Camp Christian Mill Run, PA. Number two, Kelly Reese, Kelly Reynolds, Julie Ostratrino are requested to visit Jacobs Creek Watershed May 9th, 2025, and I so move.
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
14B, request approval of cooperative agreement between Mount Aloysius College and the Collinsville Area School District for the college and high school program for the 2025-2026 school year, and I so move.
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
That's all I have, Mr. Detwiler.
Nothing, sir.
Mr. Ramsey? Nothing. And Dr. Kennedy?
I have nothing, thank you.
That's all, Mr. Panzella, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Martucci. Moving to cyber, Mr. Martray.
Thank you, Mr. Panzella. We have nothing this evening. Mr. Driscoll, do you have anything to add?
I have nothing, thank you.
Mr. Harshman?
Nothing, thank you.
Mr. Goode?
Nothing, thank you.
That's all we have, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Martray. Moving to federal programs, Mr. Harshman.
Thank you, Mr. Panzella. Item 16A, STEM Camp. Request approval to hold a 2-day STEM enrichment camp with dates to be determined at Bullskin Elementary, Dunbar Township Elementary, Springfield Clifford and Fritz Elementary, West Crawford Elementary, the Connellsville Area Middle School, and the Connellsville Area High School at an approximate cost of $20,000 to be paid from Title IV funds pending availability of staff. And I so move.
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item 16B, Kinder Camp. Request approval to hold Kinder Camp for incoming kindergarten students to be held at each elementary building in August at an approximate cost of $10,000 with costs paid from Title I funds. And I so move.
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Item 16C, Tech Camp. Request approval to hold a CASD Tech Camp with date and times to be determined, available for teachers to attend a Day of Professional Development. This camp will focus on introductory and advanced level training sessions tailored to teachers' needs in the areas of technology, initiatives, and core instructional practices, paid for by Title IV funds. And I so move.
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
That's all I have, Mr. Renzi.
Nothing, sir, thank you.
Mr. Martucci.
Yes, sir, thank you.
Dr. Coons.
I have nothing, thank you.
We have nothing further.
Thank you, Mr. Harshman. Moving to finance, Mr. Renzi.
Thank you, Ms. Manzella. Request approval of the following donations to the CACTC from Frey Lumber Company Incorporated in the amount of $192. To the CAHS Bible Club from Tom and Vicki Nicewanger, $200. To the prom committee from Denny Fields, $2,025 in memory of Hayden Fields. And for piano restoration, Jennifer and Dennis Kuzer, $50. Ed and Haley Daly, $100. Molinaro Law Office is $100. Wendy Matson, $25. Excursions Full Service Salon, $50. James Dutton, $100. Stone and Company, $100. Donald Ronaldo, $100. Fayette Emergency Medical Service, $100. Roger Pritz, $200. Anne Marie Trimbath, $50. Falcon Foundation, $500. Michael Roselle, $100. Esposito Medical Associates, $50. Mary Clemmer Brady, $100. Online donations, $1,301.18. And cash donations for $605.50, and I so move.
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Go ahead.
Yeah, just to bring everybody up to date. To date, we collected $3,881.68, and Steinway is also going to hold that price for us of $68,914 till the end of the year, so we have a lot of time in your additional funding. Thank you, Mr. President.
Okay, request approval of the 5-year contract renewal for the lease of a postage machine between Pitney Bowes and the Collinsville Area School District in the amount of $1,865.16, and I so move.
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
And request approval of the attached requisitions orders and to authorize District Business Office to process purchase orders and payments, and I so move.
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Mr. Detweiler?
Nothing, sir.
Mr. Kokenar?
Thank you.
And Mrs. Robinson?
Nothing further.
That's all we have, Mr. Manzella. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Renzi. Moving to food service, Mr. Martret.
Thank you, Mr. Panzella. We're going to be tabling 18A, B, and C and refer that back to committee for next month. And 18D, substitute requested conditional approval contingent upon successful submission of screening and background checks of the following additions to the substitute cafeteria list for the 24-25 school year. Jessica Bowles, and I so move.
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Mr. Kokenar, anything additional?
Nothing, thank you.
Kokenar, do you have anything additional?
Yes, just like that, we did get an addition of $12,000. We got granted to the DOT USDA Produce program, which again supports the daily variety of breakfast and lunch in the cafeteria for students. So that's a nice addition. We also have a $5,000 scholarship for Pure Biscuit, which is our self-help purchasing group. And again, this supports any graduating senior on the school district and the CPC as well. Again, this is anybody who's looking to further their studies into the culinary, baking, food service related career. And the application and the cover is available on the website. You'll just have to go to the food service department. And if they'd like to also contact the food service administration office, we'll be glad to help in any way.
Okay, thank you. That's all we have, Mr. Panzella.
Thank you, Mr. Martret. Okay, moving to personnel review and liaison, Mr. Renzi.
Thank you. Requested conditional approval contingent upon successful submission of screening and background checks of the following additions to the professional substitute list for the 2024-2025 school year. Macy McMaster for special ed, PK-12. Emily Brooks, emergency. Gabriel Milkoff, prospective educator. and Olivia Sellers, prospective educator, and I so move.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Request a conditional approval contingent upon successful submission of screening and background checks of the following addition to the support personnel substitute list for the 2024-2025 school year. Chastity Colbert, and I so move.
Second.
Motion and second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Request approval to rescind the memorandum of understanding between the Collinsville Area School District and chauffeurs, teamsters, and helpers, local union 491, regarding 2-hour delay, and I so move.
Second.
Motion and second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
The following Family and Medical Leave Act leaves are confirmed by the board. Destiny Cristiano, long-term substitute teacher, effective February 27th, 2025, intermittently for the remainder of the 2024-2025 school year. Stacy Cream, teacher, effective March 10th, 2025, intermittently for the remainder of the 2024-2025 school year. And Tina Hoover, clerk, effective March 1st, 2025, intermittently for the remainder of the 2024-2025 school year, and I so move.
Second.
Motion and second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Request approval for Melissa Mostowski, aide, to extend her leave of absence for the remainder of the 2024-2025 school year, and I so move.
Second.
Motion and second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Request approval for Shannon Ream, aide, to take a personal leave of absence effective on or about April 3rd, 2025 for the remainder of the 2024-2025 school year, and I so move.
Second.
Motion and second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Request approval for Cody Pellis, monitor, to take a leave of absence effective March 18th through April 8th, 2025, and I so move.
Second.
Motion and second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Request approval for Lauren Moore, cafeteria, to take a leave of absence effective March 21st, 2025 for the remainder of the 2024-2025 school year, and I so move.
Second.
Motion and second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Request approval to hire the following personal student aide effective February 26th, 2025. Jessica Carbonelli, and I so move.
Second.
Motion and second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Request approval to accept the resignation of Bobby Bird, support personnel, effective March 21st, 2025. I so move.
Second.
Motion and second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Request approval to accept the resignation of Tina Dahl, workforce development coordinator, effective May 2nd, 2025, and I so move.
Second.
Motion and second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Request approval to accept the retirement of Marcy Quinta, teacher, effective June 2nd, 2025, and I so move.
Second.
Motion and second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Request approval to accept the retirement of Trudy Nicholson, teacher, effective June 2nd, 2025, and I so move.
Second.
Motion and second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Request approval to accept the retirement of Rhonda Langer, cafeteria, effective May 27th, 2025, and I so move.
Second.
Motion and second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Request approval to accept the retirement of Karina Prince, cafeteria, effective May 30th, 2025, and I so move.
Second.
Motion and second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Request approval of the memorandum of understanding between the Collinsville Area School District and the Collinsville Education Association regarding posting for cosmetology instructor positions at the CTC as proposed, and I so move.
Second.
A motion and second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Request approval of release time for Margaret Rockwell, PSEA ESP, with cost to be reimbursed by PSEA for March 25th, 2025, and I so move.
Second.
Motion second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Request approval to accept the retirement of Mark Laporte, custodian, effective April 14th, 2025, and I so move.
Second.
A motion and second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Request approval to authorize and appoint WVU Medicine Uniontown Hospital and/or their affiliated sites of service to perform and submit standalone drug screens for the district supplemental employees in accordance with and as required by district board policies 314, 414, 514, and 916, collective bargaining and employment agreements, the public school code, section 418B and section 1402A, number 4, 28 PA code, chapter 23, section 23.9 and section 23.44, the Health Insurance Probability and Accountability Act, the Federal Educational Rights and Privacy Act, and other applicable laws and regulations, and I so move.
Second.
The motion is second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Anybody want that repeated? Okay. Request approval for Brandy Corbin and Kristen Fitzgerald, CA, ESPA officers for release time on April 14th for half a day and April 25th, full day, 2025, to attend the PSCA ESP House of Delegates in Gettysburg, PA, and I so move.
Second.
The motion is second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Request approval to amend the Act 93 plan as proposed, and I so move.
Second.
The motion is second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
And request of approval for Paula Away Cafeteria to take a leave of absence effective March 3rd, 2025, and for 15 days through the remainder of the 2024-2025 school year as documented, and I so move.
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Nothing to-
Anything else, Mr. Delwaller, Mr.
Nothing,
Martucci?
sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Mr. Kokenauer,
That's it, thank you.
okay, and Mr. Evans?
Nothing, thank you.
That's all we have, Mr. Mansell. Thank you, sir.
Fantastic job, Mr. Evans. Thank you. Policy and legislative, Mr. Martrey.
Thank you, Mr. Panzo. We have nothing this evening. Mrs. Driscoll, you have anything?
I have nothing, thank you.
Mr. Harshman?
Nothing, thank you.
Mr. Evans?
Nothing. Thank you.
Okay, that's all we have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Martrey. Moving to safety and security, Mr. Martucci.
Thank you, Mr. Panzella. Request approval of the following additions to the security substitute list for the 2024-2025 school year. Timothy Hibbs, and I so move.
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
That's all I have at this time. Mr. Driscoll,
I have nothing, thank you.
Mrs. Langston, can't hear me, do you?
Nothing, thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. Bartlett?
Nothing, thank you.
All right, that's all we have, Mr. Panzella. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Martucci. Moving to special education, Mr. Harshman.
Thank you, Mr. Panzella. Item 22A, Special Education Plan. Request approval of the Collinsville Area School District Special Education Plan 2025 through 2028, and I so move.
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
That's all I have, Mr. Driscoll.
I have nothing, thank you.
Mr. Martre,
Nothing, thank you.
that's all we have, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Harshman. Moving to student services, Mrs. Driscoll.
Okay. Travel, request approval of the following travel, and I'd like to put all 1 through, 1 through 40 together, and I so move.
Second.
Second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
And that's all we have under student services. Mrs. Sangston, do you have anything?
Nothing, thank you.
Mrs. Driscoll?
Yeah.
Can I say something before you
Sure.
finish up? Yeah, I just want to take time and thank the middle school for the great performance they gave on Matilda at the junior middle school, and Mr. Haynes and his staff, all students, they did a great job. And same with the high school, Mrs. Harbaugh and her staff and students, just a great job this year. Thank you. A lot of talent coming up. Thank you, Mrs. Driscoll.
Oh, thank you. Mr. Kokenauer.
Nothing, thank you.
Okay, that's all we have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Driscoll. Moving to technology, Mr. Detwiler.
Thank you, Mr. President. Request approval of the 5-year lease agreement with Vantage Financial for a Sophos XGS 5500 network security appliance and a 5-year Extreme license at an annual cost of $16,625, and I so move.
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Mr. Martre, anything?
Nothing, thank you.
Mr. Harshman?
Nothing, thank you.
Mr. Ghost?
Nothing else, thank you.
That's all we have, Mr. Panzella, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Detwiler. Moving to transportation, Mr. Kokenai.
Thank you, Mr. Panzella. Request approval of addition updates to the bus van and drivers list. I so move.
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
That's all I have, Mr. Panzella. Mr. Martucci.
No, sir, thank you.
Mr. Renzi.
Nothing else, sir.
Mr. Evans.
Nothing, thank you.
That's all we have tonight. Mr. Panzella, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kokenai. Nothing under the President's report. Next, we'll move to public comment for non-agenda items. We have Sonny Bentley, taxpayer conflict of interest.
I'll make this quick. I just want to read, the conflict of interest in school districts arises when an individual's personal interests potentially conflict with the best interests of the students, staff, or the integrity of the district, requiring disclosure and adherence to ethical guidelines. With that said, I'm going to just quickly read a code of ethics. The code of ethics may contain other and further provisions defining conflicts of interest that are either prohibited or that are required disclosures in order to ensure that the district's business is carried out with integrity. Areas of particular vulnerability where a board would be prudent to consider defining conflicts of interest beyond those provided by law include family relationships, private employment, and business relationships. That's all I wanted to say. I just wanted to bring that to the attention of the public. Thank you.
Thank you. That's all we had for non-agenda items. Assistant to Superintendent.
I have nothing.
Mr. Evans.
Thank you. I'd like to recognize several recent accomplishments this evening. First of all, congratulations to all of our retirees. We had a significant list this evening, and I want to wish all of them the best in their future. Collinsville Area Career and Technical Center senior welding student Nathan Kalp recently earned first place in the PA Skills USA State Welding Competition. His outstanding performance has secured him a spot in the National Skills USA competition, which will take place later this year in Georgia. Congratulations to Nathan. Mr. Martre already mentioned this. I'm going to mention it again. Our middle school and high school musicals just recently finished up this year's musicals and did a fantastic job. As always, thanks to Mr. Haynes, Mrs. Harbaugh, and everybody else that put all the hard work in like they always do. Additionally, thank you to all the families, friends, and community members who came out in support to give these young, talented adults such a great audience for each performance. Congratulations to them. I had the privilege to take part of the inductions of the National Honor Society yesterday morning. It was such a nice thing to see that over 70 of our senior high school students qualified for National Honor Society this year. That's a great number. Congratulations to them. Congratulations to Goldskin Township Elementary Principal Jamie Bilecki Quinn, who was named Outstanding Educator by the National Society Daughters of the American Colonists Pennsylvania chapter this past week. Congratulations to Mrs. Quinn. Our boys and girls wrestling teams had a record season this year with 6 PIAA state place winners at the individual championships earlier this month. Congratulations to 8th place Nolan Rice, 6th place Lonzie Vielma, 6th place Tommy Gretz, 4th place Janaea Nobles, 3rd place Kai Vielma, and 2nd place Evan Petrovich. And finally, I'd like to remind everyone that there is no school for students this Friday, March 28th, as it is an Act 80 day for teachers. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Evans. Motion adjourned. Thanks.